Confessions of a Hypnotist. Can a hypnotist hypnotize you without you knowing it? Hey there, I'm Dan Candell, and I'm going to share that in this video. Now, if you're new to me, welcome to the conversation. If you're not, welcome back to the conversation. Great to have you back. As I said, I'm Dan Candell. I'm a professional hypnotist, and I have been for more than half my life. And I'm also a specialist known as the anxiety relief guy. I help people with high-functioning anxiety so that way they can have more wins than losses, more good days than bad days, more breakthroughs than breakdowns, overcome self-sabotage, and program their mind to be more successful. And if that's you, if you need that, let me know in the comments so we can talk, so we can arrange something so that way I can best help you. But you might not be here for that. You might just be here to hear me unload all of these secrets and spill the tea. So let's get to the question. Can I hypnotize you without you knowing it? The answer is yes. Yes, I can. And I'm going to share with you a story of how I just did this last week. So before we get too deep into it, you might be wondering, okay, well, are you telling me you can put me to sleep without me knowing it and then wake me up someplace completely different or make me do something I don't really want to do? Well, yes and no. It all depends on what your definition of hypnosis can be. Now, I have a slightly modernized perspective of hypnosis. My job as a hypnotist is to communicate to your subconscious mind so that way I change your mind about something. I might change the way you think, the way you feel, or the way you respond or behave or react towards something. And that's my job as a hypnotist. And there are many different ways to do it. But if I'm going to hypnotize somebody without them knowing it, there's a covert way that I do it without them really knowing they've been hypnotized. But again, my definition of hypnosis doesn't mean you have to close your eyes to go into a hypnotic state. It means that you become compliant, you follow my suggestions and instructions, and then you might do something to your benefit that you might not otherwise do, say, or think. And I'm going to share with you exactly how this happened. So let me rewind. Every year I attend HypnoThoughts Live, which is the world's largest hypnosis conference based in Las Vegas, Nevada in the US. And there are about 1,000 hypnotists that go each year, and it's growing every year. But it's not just hypnotists that go to this. It's hypnotists, therapists, psychologists, doctors, entertainers go to this, even Reiki practitioners, energy healers, massage therapists. And there are a lot of professional hypnotists there that are all speaking about hypnosis and speaking about different methods to use with clients and all different things about the profession. And then there's people that go there to learn. And I go there to teach, and I go there to learn. And I go there to hang out with friends because I have a lot of friends in Vegas and a lot of friends at this conference. And it's almost like summer camp for hypnotists. Now, before you tune off because you're like, you sneaky bastard, you just hypnotized someone at the hypnosis conference without them knowing it. People are already predisposed to that when they go to the conference. No. I hypnotized the cashier in Walmart before the conference even happened when I landed in Las Vegas. Here's a story of how this happened. So first and foremost, most Walmarts to me is like walking into hell. I'm not a great fan of going to some Walmarts. Some are okay. Some of them are, like I said, not a fan. I went to a Walmart in Las Vegas because when I give my presentations, I buy all these little trinkets and party favors and stuff like that and in the kids section, and I give them out to participants at my presentation because it's fun and it's like a carnival almost, and people go into my presentation and they love it. It helps them lower their barriers so they have fun, so they learn. They don't realize they're learning because they're having so much fun, and it helps them embrace a part of their inner child, a part that most of us tend to push back or away. So I was in Las Vegas with my husband, and it was his first time in Las Vegas as well. And we were in the checkout line, and we realized that we forgot soap. So whenever I travel, I usually, if I'm going to rent a car, I usually don't pack toiletries. I usually don't pack like all the stuff that you're going to, that's going to weigh your luggage down, like soap, shampoo, deodorant, stuff like that. I'll usually figure out where I'm going and see if there's a pharmacy or a Target or Walmart, and I'll just go in and buy all the stuff while I'm there, so I don't really have to travel with it. And so we go to Walmart. I get a bunch of these like little trinkets and toys and stuff like that to include into my presentation. And then we realized we forgot soap. I'm going to take a drink of water because my throat is dry. And before this video, I broke out into a coughing fit because I've been talking all day. So we're in the checkout line. We realized we didn't get soap. My husband goes, "I'll be back. I'm going to go get soap." I said, "Okay." So I'm working my way up and he's not back yet. And I'm like, he's been gone for like 5 minutes. Like, where is he? And I'm just thinking I have to delay because nobody wants to be the person in line where there's a long line behind you and you are now waiting for a person in your party to come and bring the one thing you forgot. It's almost like when you were little and you go to the grocery store with your mom and she goes, "Oh, stay right here. I forgot." And you're like, "No!" Because you know she's going to have to go all the way back across the store and you're going to be that jerk standing in line just waiting for her to get back with a whole long line of people behind you. So I'm thinking like that's the moment it's going to be. So I'm working my way up in line. I am next. And I'm listening to the cashier talk and I realize she's pretty exuberant. And I believe her name was Linda. And oh, Linda. And so I'm listening to her talk to some of the other patrons going through, and now it's my turn. And I'm trying to slowly load things onto the conveyor belt in Walmart because if anyone was going to tell me that I needed to hurry the F up, it would have been Linda. So Linda's the cashier, never met her a day in my life. And I said, "Linda, how are you today?" And she goes, "Blessed." I'm like, "Great. Here we go. Wonderful. That's a great response. Here we go." And I said, "It's a hot day out," because it was literally 118 degrees Fahrenheit in Las Vegas. It was a hot day out. And she goes, "It's hotter than Satan's breath." I'm like, "Oh, here we go." And I didn't dare tell her I was a hypnotist. So Linda looks at all my stuff and she goes, "Oh, you obviously have kids." And I said, "No, I don't have kids." And she's like, "Oh, well, then what are all these little toys and trinkets for?" I said, "Oh, well, I'm a speaker and I speak at conferences and I do keynote speaking. And part of my conference is I give things like this to some of the attendees to help them embrace their inner kid, to help them just explore their inner child more, to feel really good, just kind of lighten the mood a little bit because I talk about some pretty heavy topics." And now I'm realizing this is my window of opportunity to hypnotize Linda, to slow things up a little bit so that way it's her fault as to why we're being delayed, not mine. Or I should say, not my husband's, because he was taking a sweet-ass time in the soap section at Walmart. So, oh gosh. So I said to Linda, I said, "Actually," oh, and she said, "Explore your inner kid?" I said, "Yeah." She goes, that sounds amazing." I said, "Yeah, Linda, when was a time where you felt good when you were younger, like a time that just lights you up inside?" And Linda went in to what we call a spontaneous regression. She started talking as if she was like 4 years old again. I just asked her this question. And I said, "Linda," I said, "when was a time that you felt this special time as a kid, like you had no cares, no worries in the world?" And she goes, she just stopped. She stopped everything that she was doing. And she goes, "I'm back in Venice Beach, Florida. I'm like 5 years old and I'm playing in the sand and I'm building the sandcastle and playing in the water with my cousins." And she said, "We didn't have any cares in the world." She goes, "We didn't need money or anything like that. We're just having fun. We're having fun on the beach." And she's speaking in the present tense. She's like, "We're having fun on the beach. We're playing in the water. We're building sandcastles. We're playing in the sand. I'm running around in my bathing suit." And she's like acting this out as she's going on. And at this point, my husband comes over and he has the soap and he puts it on the conveyor belt. And it's like nobody else is there except for her and I. And he's watching this unfold. And then she starts crying. And she goes, "It was just so special. It was just so special. I just feel so special right now." She goes, "I feel so special." And, I'm sorry, this is when my husband walked over. And then I said, "Well, I'm glad I could help you feel special and help you feel good." And this is when I kind of broke the spell and I said, "Oh, look, I have everything I need. Let's continue on checking out." And she looks at me and she goes, then this is right when my husband came back and put the soap on the conveyor belt. She looks at me and she goes, "You touched me. You made me feel so good and you touched me." And my husband looks at me and goes, "What is going on here?" And he sees her crying. And I'm like, "Oh no." And she's like, "You touched me and you made me feel so good." He goes, "You did what?" I goes, "I can assure you, I did not do that to her." He's like, "What did you do to her?" I'm like, "Nothing, just, I don't want to talk about it. Let's just check out and let's go." And Linda is still like at the register beaming now because I said, "Great, hold on to the special feeling for the rest of the day because you deserve it. You deserve to feel great, Linda." I said, "Keep feeling good. It's a great day to feel great." And I left her with that suggestion. I walked out and she was just smiling, continuing on to scan other people's stuff. And I stood back and watched for a minute or so. And she was just in this elated, wonderful state. And we're walking out to the car and my husband goes, "You did it again, didn't you? You did it. You did it again." He goes, "You hypnotized her without her knowing." I said, "She deserved it. She works at Walmart in the middle of Las Vegas. It's 118 degrees outside right now." I said, "She was doing a good job." I said, "You were taking your sweet ass time bringing the soap." I said, "What were you doing in the soap aisle for so long?" Oh my gosh. So that's my story of how I hypnotized someone without her knowing it. Now, here's how I did this. I want to be very clear. There is no use of what's called a hypnotic induction. And a hypnotic induction is usually where you see people go like sleep and the person goes like that and their tongue hangs out of their mouth and they start drooling and snorting. Now, I didn't use a hypnotic induction, or I should say I didn't use a classic hypnotic induction. I used what we call covert hypnosis. And covert hypnosis, like I saw she was already in a very, I don't want to say emotion. She wasn't in an emotional state, but she was in like kind of a receptive state and she was already answering my questions. So I said, "How are you?" And she said, "Blessed." And I knew that's not like a typical response that they usually say like "good," or they'd say like "okay." So she gave me an out of the box response, which I then knew I could instantly like connect with her. I then asked her another question, which is, or I did a statement, which is, "Wow, it's really hot outside, right?" And she's like, "Hotter than Satan's breath." I'm like, boom, gotcha. Very descriptive, very descriptive. So I just took her on this, whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to hit the microphone. I just took her on this journey of receptivity. And when I work with people, this is how I do a lot of work with them. I don't always put them into a trance and have them close their eyes and go through relaxation because I don't need to. It's about evoking these magical emotional responses in people that just help them feel good. And I could have used so many other techniques if Linda was my client, I would have. But you see, you can create these really powerful responses without people knowing it. Now, because of some of her responses, if I told her I was a hypnotist, what would have happened? Boom, instant resistance. There might have been an instant wall there. So that's one of the other reasons as to why I didn't disclose that I was a hypnotist or that I was even doing anything to her. It just seemed like I was asking her questions and I was just being nice. But what I was really doing is helping her have an even more amazing day. So can you hypnotize people without them knowing it? Yes, you can. But like I said, there are some different factors that go into play. And can you hypnotize a person using conventional hypnosis without them knowing? That's a controversial topic. And again, it all depends on what your level of rapport with them is. It depends on the situation. I have done that before in stage shows where I'm doing a comedy hypnosis stage show. People get hypnotized in the audience. They don't realize they've been hypnotized. And I'll ask them if they want to come on stage. They say yes. So again, it's about creating a comfort level with people that will help bypass the critical factor of the conscious mind and get into the subconscious mind. But in order to do this, you should build up a level of trust and rapport with people. And you want to have the best of intentions, because if you try and get people to do something that they wouldn't normally do and they're not expecting that, That's what we call borderline manipulation. And we don't want to do that. We want to stay away from that. And you don't have to be a hypnotist to do that, by the way. You read a book about, well, you know what? Let's cover that in a different video because I have a lot to say about that. Because a lot of people think, oh, can you hypnotize me, make me do something against my will? And again, it's not just hypnosis that allows you to do that. There are a lot of other factors at play. With that said, you might be watching this video because you might say, Dan, I want to work with you in some way. You seem like you're a lot of fun. And I love to have fun with people. And one of the best ways to work with me is in my community called the Unfuck Your Mind Collective, where I help you unfuck your mind and uplift your life. And if you want to join my community, the best way is just to send me a direct message on Instagram or Facebook. And you can find the links to my social media platforms right down below this video. Or you can even send me an email, dancandel@gmail.com. So I look forward to getting more of these episodes to you because I love recording Confessions of a Hypnotist, if walls could talk, where I reveal these secret insights of what it's like to be a hypnotist. So with that said, make sure you rate, subscribe, follow my page for more. Make sure you comment and let me know what your experiences are and what you got out of this. And as always, be well, do good, be true to who you are, and happy healing.